live. And it should pop up as Metcalfe Civil Juvenile. Let's see.
She said, she said Megan's not going to be on here since all the reports agreed on that disability. And she said Amanda didn't tell her one way or the other. So
What do you mean she's not going to be on here?
it's just the pre-trial, right?
Oh, I thought you were telling me it was the
Well, I thought it was.
trial.
And she didn't. I don't see these anymore.
Is it working?
Okay.
There you go. It doesn't come up on, oh, now it's trying to come up on. All right, we're going to take it off of.
Is it 90 days?
Well, we'll put this other one on there if they show up. Just mute it. All right, if you're on the telephone, if you hit *6, it'll unmute your phone. And I can hear you. If you're on the telephone, you have to hit *6 to unmute. If you're here and your phone number ends in 203, you have to hit *6 to unmute. There we go. What's your name?
Hello, this is Larry Ennis, sir.
All right, Mr. Ennis, hold on just a minute. We're going to wait and see if Miss Kempton shows up.
Yes, sir.
So just give us a minute.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna put you back on mute. So when I ask you to unmute, you figured out how to do that, right?
Yes, sir. Where I live out here in the mountains here, sir, my signal don't work just best it was, so I apologize for that.
Hey, Well, we'll give her a couple more minutes.
Do we wait now?
This lady in a small claims.
Nothing for me.
No. Mr. Ennis, can you unmute your phone?
Yes, sir.
Have you spoken to Miss Kempton?
No, sir. The last time I had spoken to Miss Kempton was in December. The last time I spoke.
Okay. Oh, here's somebody. Let me see if this is her. All right, if you are on the telephone with a 606 area code, you have to hit *6 to unmute. What's your name? If you have the 606 area code, what's your name? If you're on the telephone and you have a 606 area code, you have to tell me your name or speak up and tell me who you are.
Anna Kempton.
All right. All right, so the court calls the case of Anna Kempton versus Larry Ennis. Mr. Ennis, we are here because Miss Kempton has filed this small claims complaint alleging that you owe her $500 for a greenhouse. Do you agree, or I guess that the greenhouse was $1,000, you paid for half of it and have not paid the other $500? Do you agree that you owe her that money, or would you like to have a hearing about that case?
I'd like to have a hearing, sir.
All right, everybody that's going to testify, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly
Yes, sir.
swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Kempton, do you want to tell me why you filed this?
Because he told me that he would pay me the rest of the money by January the 5th. Let's see, wait a minute. Yeah,
What?
January the 15th.
What was your deal? What
And
did you tell him, and how much did it cost, and what did he do?
I paid $5,000 for it. He sold it for $3,000 for $3,000 and hadn't paid for it. I don't know whether he bought it or not. I just know what I was told. And she said he did not buy it.
All right,
And
so
she told,
Sir,
me
she's
ask
going
you
by
this.
hearsay.
Hold on. Ms. Kempton, let me ask you this. Did you have a greenhouse?
yes, I bought the greenhouse from Judy.
You signed it in front of the officer that was there.
Yeah, he signed this in front of the officer that was there with us.
Listen, you guys can't keep talking over each other. I can only hear one person at a time. Ms. Kempton, I'm going to ask you these questions and you just answer them. Mr. Ennis,
Okay.
do not interrupt. I'll let you say everything you want to say before we hang up, okay?
Yes, sir.
Everybody understands?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Kempton, did you have a greenhouse?
Yes, sir.
Did you have an agreement to sell it to Mr. Ennis?
No.
No, I didn't have agreement to sell it to him. No. He was taking it off. They went over there and took it down and was taking it off.
Hold on. Your complaint says Larry Ennis bought a greenhouse for me on December the 3rd for $1,000. So is that what you did, or is that not what you did?
I agreed to to let him take it on if he give me my money back that I had paid for it. He give me $500. He owes me $500, sir.
Okay, so was it your greenhouse to sell? I mean, that's what I'm asking.
Yes.
All right, and so he was going to pay $1,000 total and you were gonna give it to him.
Yes, because they already had it loaded.
And he paid you $500 for it.
He paid me $500 and he owes me $500.
And your agreement was he was gonna pay you $1,000.
Yes.
All right, and you're telling me that he wrote out a note for it?
Yes,
saying
I
that he
have it
owed you-
right here.
Okay. All right, is there anything else you want to tell me about that?
I just that they was taking it off the property without permission.
Well, if you were selling it to him, how was it without
No.
permission?
No, I hadn't sold it to him. No, I hadn't never met the man. They was over there taking it off of the property. They took it down, loaded it up, and I got a phone call from the neighbor telling me that they was taking the greenhouse down.
So,
And I went over there and they didn't have it loaded.
all right, so then once they had it loaded up, you said, fine, as long as you pay me $1,000?
Yeah, because I felt sorry for the boy. He didn't know nothing about what was going on because this man had
So
sold it to him.
So did you talk to Mr. Ennis while he was there and y'all signed the note there?
Yes, and the police officer was standing there with us.
Okay. So I just want to make sure I got it right. So you didn't agree to sell it to him. Somebody told you he was loading up your greenhouse. You went over there and they were loading it up and y'all made an agreement that if he would pay you $1,000, that you'd be fine with him taking it off. He gave you $500 and wrote you a note that said he'll pay you the other $500.
Yes, and I told him, the police officer was going to take him to jail. I said, no, nobody goes to jail.
Okay.
And I said, if he'll give me $1,000, I said, it'll be over with. I said, that's what I paid for it. I said, it'll be over with.
All right. All right.
I tried to be nice.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ennis, what do you want to tell me about that?
And she is accurate, Your Honor. She was as kind as she could be about it, but she didn't go back and tell you the whole entire complete story of this. I didn't buy the greenhouse off of Miss Anna. I bought it off of Miss Judy Powell, the one that was sitting on the property, who said that she had sold it to, and I have witnesses that was with me when I stopped and talked to Miss Judy Powell on November the 12th of last year. Her and her daughter, Melissa, was out in the yard working on picking some garbage stuff up out of the yard. We stopped because I was interested in the greenhouse. I stopped and I seen Miss Judy Powell, who was the owner of it. That's what she told me, that her and her husband had it put in by the government. And we stood there and talked about it with my witnesses with me.
Okay,
And,
let me, Mr. Ennis, let me ask you a couple questions first, maybe
Yes,
save us some time. All right, so when you were over there loading it up, did you talk to Miss Kempton and make some agreement to pay $1,000 to her?
I did, sir, because I was put right on the spot there. Miss Judy Powell, who sold it to me, was in the rehab facility because she had fell and broke her leg. And she stood and told the officer on the phone.
So did you sign an agreement that you'd agree to pay her $500 more?
I did, yes, sir, because I did not want to go to jail. It was coming Christmas. I was put on the spot. Hey, I just bought this greenhouse off of Judy Powell, who told me that Miss Anna did buy it off of her. She said, Anna bought it off me a year ago. She said, but she's not came and picked it up. I said, how much did she charge you for it? And she said, I charged her $1,000, but don't say nothing about it because I draw disability and I don't want to lose my disability.
Okay,
I've got my witnesses.
Well, let me ask you this. Why do you think, since you signed that note saying you owed her $500 more, that you don't have to pay it now?
Well, like I say, Your Honor, at the time I was just trying to stay out of jail, and I knew that with it being $1,000 and she did not give $5,000 for the greenhouse,
Well,
and I didn't get $2,000 for it.
She's only asking for $1,000, and she says you paid her $500 and you owe her $500 more.
Yes, sir, and I have proof of evidence with a copy of a check that Miss Judy Powell turned around and paid me back for the 500 that I gave Anna. I got proof of that check because she said that she did not want to get in no kind of trouble and didn't want to be sued.
Well,
I've got a copy of that check.
she didn't get sued, you got sued. And you made it sounds like you made an agreement to pay Miss Kempton $500 more.
I did, yes, sir.
All right, so that's what she's suing you for, is that other $500.
Yes, sir, but may I also add to say that she's in the right. She deserves her money because it did belong to her after she bought it off of Miss Judy Powell. But Miss Judy Powell said it was a year before after that she didn't come and pick it up.
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with y'all's deal.
Well, the one
your
she
deal
should
is
have
just
went
between
after.
you and Miss Kempton.
Yes, sir. You're exactly right.
What
But
she
the
should
one-
have done is totally irrelevant to this. So I don't have a.
Well, what the officer told me that day, sir, he said, I could take you to jail for selling that greenhouse that belonged to Miss Anna. I said, yes, sir, you're right. But I didn't buy it off of Miss Anna. I bought it off of Judy Powell. That means Judy Powell sold a greenhouse to me that didn't belong to her.
Your Honor, can I speak for a minute?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am. There's not any reason to just yet. Well, Mr. Ennis, I mean, if you think that Miss Powell did something wrong, you'd have to sue her. But you made
Yes,
an
sir, I
agreement
did.
with Miss Kempton to pay this. She was apparently the owner. You paid her half of it, and you owe her the other half. Is the way that is what everybody seems to agree to. So,
Yes, sir.
I mean, I don't think I
plan
have
to-
any other. I don't have any other choice but to sign this small claims judgment saying you owe Miss Kempton the $500 plus the $141 of court costs.
Okay. But
So that's
Your Honor,
that's what. Yep.
With me being the one sued on this end, then I now have the right to sue Miss Judy Powell for selling me something that did not belong to her because I have documentations and everything.
I don't know anything about that. I won't know about that unless somebody sues and it comes in front of me.
Yes, sir. And it wasn't the intention that I didn't want to pay Ms. Anna. I wanted it to come before you so that I could tell, hey, I'm being the wrongful one being sued because I bought the one that the government built the greenhouse for. I bought it off of that family. And I'm being sued for someone that bought it a year ago.
What?
All right. So I'm going to sign this small claims judgment and fine for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. It is, there's also $141 of court costs. This is a final and appealable judgment. If you wanted to appeal it, you would have 10 days from today to appeal it. It usually, if you're planning on paying it, it usually works out best if you guys can come to some agreement so that she doesn't have to do something to garnish your wages or something. But that's between you how she collect. I mean, I'm not in the business of enforcing the collections.
Larry?
Does anybody
Yes,
have
ma'am.
any questions?
No. Larry, will you meet me somewhere and pay me?
Ma'am, I can't pay you that $500 all at once.
Well, that's all I know to do. If I agree to you pay me $100 a month, then you're gonna just backfire on me and do it again. You know, you're gonna have to come up with it.
We can't trust you.
Judy give you $500. Okay. Why didn't you bring that to me? It's logical, you know. Why didn't you bring it to me and pay me and it would have been over with?
Ma'am, if you recall, we was talking about that during around Christmas time.
You were supposed to pay me at
right.
January the
I was
15th.
supposed to pay you January the 15th.
Yes.
Ma'am, I don't know if you noted or not, and if you recall, but I have cancer. I've got leukemia. And I was in the hospital there for a while.
Wait a minute. I done hear that you're not taking treatments no more. You can't tell me fibs and make me feel sorry for you no more,
I don't know who
man.
told you I'm not taking treatments, ma'am, but you can go with me this week if you want to go.
And you told the Lord you had babies at home and Christmas was coming up. You don't have babies.
I don't have babies. I've got a 15-year-old and I've got a 3-year-old in my home. What are you talking about?
Well, they're not yours.
Okay. I'm glad you know what a DNA is.
All right, here's the thing. Mr. Ennis, you owe Miss Kempton $500 and you owe $141 of court costs. If y'all make an agreement to pay it, great. If you don't, then she's gonna have to do something to collect it. So it'd be easier if you could pay it, but that's up to you guys. If you wanna call and talk to each other about it, it's what you need to do. But Miss Kempton, you have a judgment, so you can enforce it. Okay?
I can't call him because he won't answer me.
Well, then you'll have to do something else to collect it where you don't have
Ma'am,
to.
I wouldn't answer your phone call because you had done filed that lawsuit against me, and I couldn't answer those calls. We couldn't talk to one another before now.
Well,
I tried to call you before I done that.
You could talk
Ma'am,
to
I
her.
was in the hospital 2 weeks.
Listen. You guys want to call and argue with each other, you can do that. We're not going to do it here. But you can talk to her, Mr. Ennis, if you would like. The best way for y'all to work it out is for you to work out an arrangement to pay that everybody will be happy with. But I don't know if you guys can do that. If you can, great. All I can tell you is that my part of it is over, and that you owe that money to her because that was the agreement you made.
Yes, sir, and I do agree that I made that agreement with her. But
All right.
she will have to accept the payments that I can afford.
And what's that?
All right.
I don't own any homes. I don't own a car. I don't own anything. So I can't be garnished.
Want to bet?
So you'll have to.
All right.
The way you done,
You
Judy.
guys are gonna have to figure it out. I'm gonna end our
Okay.
court. Okay. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you, sir.